Good morning, everyone. And it's Thursday. Getting it done with gratitude. How are you all? Warm, cold, chilly? How is everyone out there? So, sending lots and lots of well wishes. And it's Shelly and I again. And you know what? We are coming fast to the close of 2023. I I am convinced now that the year has just flown by. I mean, it just seems too quick to be already finished. I don't know about everybody else, but I really
Mm.
think that it's missing. It's gone like shoo. Anyway, we are here. We are here, and that is something to be really grateful for. And this morning, we want to share with you or get your perspective on, how are you really managing and being able to apply gratitude to your life? Because at this time of the year, everyone's busy. Everyone's busy, whether it's working, whether it's preparing for the holidays, whether it's having family and getting everything ready. And it is so easy to get caught up in the busy. So this is something that we really want to look at. And what are some of the lessons that you have learned from the year? This is a time when persons are often very reflective, and we look at what are some of the things that you have been learning. We look back and we ask ourselves questions, and sometimes we're happy and sometimes we're not so happy with what we've seen.
Mhm.
And we really want to just remind you that, it's one, it's okay, and two, in all things, in all things, be grateful for where you are right now. Learn from it, go from it, but be grateful for it. So before we really unpack that, let me quickly introduce myself. By now, I hope everybody knows who I am, but just in case, just in case, I'm Karen Williams Thompson. I'm a life and business strategist and a coach. And I help women get absolutely clear on what it is that they want in life and empower them to say yes. To say yes to the dreams that they have held on to, that they've wanted to, but may have gotten caught up in the busy, or life happens and we get derailed, we go in a different direction. But I
Yeah.
help you to get absolutely clear on what is it that you really want. Why do you want it? Why is it important to you? And to help you identify that, prioritize the goals, and create the plan that is going to help you intentionally achieve the goals that you have set for yourself so that you can have the life that you have always wanted, a life of fulfillment, a life where you get to be, do, and have what it is that you want for you. And with me every Thursday is my dear friend Shelly Ann. Shelly?
Hi, good morning, Karen. Good morning, everyone. Good afternoon, good evening, good night, whenever you're looking at this. And like Karen, I feel like the year has just whoop. And part of that reason is being extra busy. And I feel like that is definitely something that we need to really dig into a bit more. And for me, when I work with my clients, this is one of the areas that I touch on because, when you're focused on a goal and you're focused on achieving what you want to achieve, you have it set, sometimes you can get overwhelmed and exhausted. And I believe people over 40 deserve to pursue their goals with joy and that joyous energy as we call it. And so as you're going after your goal, my main focus is that daily intentional habit of gratitude to help my clients really understand that, life really does begin at 40. We don't have to like dig in and get extra busy. We can start really enjoying our lives on our journey. And so I work with professionals who feel like they're not making any progress, they're kind of stuck. And especially at this time of year, they're reflecting and they're seeing sometimes things that they're not too happy about. They're not as far along as they would like to be. And so I work with showing them how to say it right by infusing self-talk with empowering language, and say it loud by making gratitude tangible, and saying it always by establishing that daily habit of gratitude that kind of sets the foundation. It's like a keystone habit that other powerful habits can be hinged on, that they can accomplish what they want to and feel happy and fulfilled on the journey and not just at a future destination. So I think this topic has all of them. It really does come into play with that concept of being present and enjoying the moment while you reflect on the past and while you make plans for the future.
Oh, definitely. And I am sure that this year has been a treasure trove of lessons and takeaways for each of us.
Yes.
Um, I'm sure that they have been just so many things, and that now when we sit and we reflect on it, there are a few things that could pop up. One, we can be like, I can't believe I got all of this done. And
Mhm.
some for others, it might be, I'm really sorry that I didn't get to do some of these things that I wanted to do. But what the year has also shown us is our ability to adapt, and that
Mhm.
when life doesn't go as planned, we really tap into that resilience that is there. And I believe it was episode
22, I think we
good.
spoke about resilience. Yeah, we had a
And
guest at
so
that time too. Really, really awesome episode. Hmm.
that's probably one you should check out. We really talked about resilience then. So we're not going to like revisit those ones because all of these episodes are there, and you can just have a lovely binge watch over the holidays and just immerse yourself in gratitude. That would be a wonderful gift to yourself. And of course, subscribe and pay it forward. Invite other people to check it out as well. But we have learned so many lessons, and things change in the blink of an eye. So, how are we when we have to pivot, when things are happening? How are we remembering in the busyness to really
Hmm.
just be present with the gratitude? And
Yeah.
gratitude is just so instrumental in this whole process because it keeps bringing us back to the now. It keeps bringing us back to where we are. And that helps us to put down the anchor. And
Yeah.
I know that I think I told you this, Shelley, that when mom died, that's how I felt. I felt a anchor less. And so it has been important for me even to begin to just going through this process without her to re-anchor myself. And gratitude is
Hmm.
one of the ways that we can do this because it helps us to look at the good amidst the chaos. And we have
Yeah.
to be, there's quite a bit of chaos going on. So looking for that good and making ourselves pay attention to it. This is important. And I think now that we are at this time of the year and we have something like 8 9 days and we're then going to be saying farewell
Yeah.
to 2023,
You
it's
know?
really a good time to take a little pause, take a break, take a minute, and really look back at the lessons that you've learned. Look at the key takeaways of your life, because I was telling Shelley before we jumped on that the learnings can be two things. You can learn ways to build on something worked really well, and this is an opportunity to just build that and take it to the next level. Or perhaps it didn't go quite the way you wanted it to go, and you learn what not to do. Because I'm not someone that subscribes to failure. I just think that things don't work one way, and we get the opportunity to learn how to do it in
Yeah.
another way. The important thing is always, what are the lessons, what are the takeaways that you are gaining from this?
Yeah, and as you're speaking about that, I know this time of year, lots of people are thinking about, the past, and there are others who are thinking a lot about the future because lots of plans for 2024 and all those things. And I often remember times when I remember in the past, for me, coming up to the end of the year, it wasn't always a pleasant experience because looking back, um my first thought was about all the things that I couldn't get done. And sometimes we would look at what other people have accomplished and lament on, okay, this is where I am in my life. um I don't have this, and I'm seeing other people achieving what I want to achieve, and not feeling so joyous around Christmas time. And so I'm always reminded about people who are around this time of the year when many others are, laughing and fellowshipping, and they're not having that. And so
Mhm.
for me, being present is also being present and appreciating in the midst of situations, as you said, they're not failures, they're just one way not to do that thing, right?
Absolutely.
And so it is really, really a time of reflection. And quite often it is the negativity that comes up or the anxiety of things to come. And so anchoring yourself in the present is absolutely, absolutely important. And in addition to recognizing what you're grateful for, I actually use quite regularly a few grounding techniques. And I've mentioned this several times on this program because, while we talk about gratitude, gratitude is at the core of a range of practices. So it's not just sit and identify what you're grateful for, full stop, and you move on. It is part of a system, which is why I talk about, and we talk about a lot. We mention it over and over. Say it right, say it loud, say it always, because it's part of a system. And I think we really need to be mindful of the fact that this is part of a system. And so, grounding techniques, reaching out to others, there are multiple ways to keep us really present and appreciating what's happening for the value that's in it, rather than seeing it as just something that is in between what happened this year and what's going to happen next year.
Hmm.
Now is also important.
Yeah, now is very important. And as you were speaking and you talked about people looking ahead, I was reminded that coming up in a few days, a lot of persons will be focused on making resolutions and promises that they make to themselves of things that they want to achieve. And this is really an area where I could go off for a hot minute. So just rein me in just in case, because I've done quite a bit of research on this, and the stats are clear that everyone makes all of these resolutions, etc., at the beginning of the year, and then by the first week in February, over 60% have fallen off, and by the time we get to early March, it's a further 25%. And so what that really says to us is that of all the people that have made all these resolutions, 8% of persons actually commit and follow them right through. And so my suggestion is not to get caught up in making the resolutions, but
Mhm.
instead focus on and commit to things that, are going to make the difference for you. Yes, things that you want to achieve, but also to just count your blessings along the way. Don't
Yeah.
just caught up in making the resolutions of I want to do this, I've got to, you know, I want to lose weight. Yes, I do. But what are the blessings that I have now that I can be appreciative of, that I can express the gratitude about, that I can say out loud about, that I can write it in my journal about, that I can put on one
Mhm.
of my 3 points that I'm going to say that I'm grateful for this today? What are the things that I can really be very appreciative about and appreciate the blessings that we have? What are the things that because what are the things that have shaped you, because those are the things, though, those lessons that you've learned, those are what you're taking with you. So yes, resolutions are good. Yes, we need to be intentional about them, but let's also blend that with being present and appreciative of the blessings that we have in the now. And I think this brings us right back to something that Shelley was saying earlier, which is really about how are we being present in the
Yeah.
business and the everything that's associated with the season. How are we being
Mhm.
present for ourselves and for our loved ones?
Yeah, definitely. And while you were saying that, I thought that really, when we talk about goals moving forward, we're looking at infusing our goals with gratitude. Because for me, it's really a big thing about going after your goals with joy and not from a position of lack. Because many
Mm-hmm.
times we set a goal and we set this goal and this agenda because we want something and we're thinking we need this because we don't have this, and we want more and we want the next thing, and it kind of robs us of what's happening now. And so we find ourselves, burning the candles at both ends and burning it in the middle, and just, you know giving and extending ourselves so thin in the pursuit of goals, thinking that when we get there, we will be happy. When we get there, we will experience joy. And so, infusing your goals with gratitude, that's a huge part of being present because you're acknowledging what you have in relation to this thing that you're pursuing and this
Mm-hmm.
thing that you want. And guess what? We actually spoke about that in depth in, let me check the episode, that would be episode 29. We really did go into that in a lot of detail,
Mm-hmm.
infusing goals with gratitude so that you are present while you are thinking about, the future. And it brings me to the thought, the concept of time being relevant, and not this sort of linear thing that we experience outside, because we're simultaneously thinking about the past, present, and future.
Mm.
So we are reflecting on the past so that it can inform the decisions we make now as we plan for the future. And the only thing that really gets us to the future are the decisions and the actions that we take now. So when we talk about being present, it's not an absence of reflection or an absence of preparation, but it's really an acknowledgement that now is the action that we're taking to impact on everything that's going to come in the future. And
Mm-hmm.
one of the reasons why those New Year's resolutions don't often work out for people, one of the reasons is that um, they it's not within a habit-based context. Many people make a resolution and try to force it, and so they jump ahead. And so, people who want to lose weight, for example, they know they have to exercise, and research says 20 minutes at least 3 times a week, 45 minutes ideal. And so that's where they start, because that's where they want to be. That's where they start. They want to aim for 45 minutes right away. They want to aim for 30 minutes, 20 minutes right away. But if you're not accustomed to exercising, that is going to be the most difficult thing for you, especially if you're trying to do it on your own as well, without, someone there with you. And it
Mm-hmm.
could also be kind of dangerous depending on what fitness level you're in. You could injure yourself going all out right at the beginning. And so, what the habit community speaks about is taking those tiny steps and those small steps and doing things one at a time. And I have a friend who, she was trying to get into an exercise routine to get fit, not necessarily to lose weight, but and she was, 15, 20 minutes, and she'd do it maybe 1 week, stop, and not really getting it. And so I had a discussion with her and I said, you know what, start small. What's the least amount of time that you can do that, even when you're tired and you're exhausted, you'll still be able to do that least amount of time? And she said, well,
Mm-hmm.
maybe 3 minutes. I said, well, start with 3 minutes then. And Monday we were chatting, and she was excitedly telling me that she has maintained that for 3 weeks going, and not only maintaining the 3 minutes, but she has increased it to 5 minutes. So now she's
Mm-hmm.
5 minutes every day, consistently maintaining the habit. And so
Mm-hmm.
for those of us who, were thinking about, those goals and 2024, and we're wondering, all right, how to get these things done, one thing at a time, consistently, tiny habit is what PJ Fogg calls it. Tiny
Yeah.
habit, get that started. What is the least that you can do and that would make a difference? And do that least because the name of the game is consistency.
And the name of the game is consistency, and that's really where the success lies. That's where you're going to see your success. And you were talking about goals and goal achieving, and that's so up my street. And I wanted, when we set those goals, we should really be setting goals, yes, that we can achieve. But if you set a goal that you know that you are already going to get it done, then you're going to drop it because it's not going to be, there's nothing there really going to be pulling you or motivating you.
Hmm.
Your goals need to stretch you in some way. And so if stretching you is going for that extra 2 minutes, then you put that as your goal. But the consistency is what's going to make the difference. And this is also where the gratitude and the goals come together, because a goal that's just in your head, it's not going to go very far. When you write
Hmm.
it down, when you make it something that you have said out loud, whether you've only said it out loud to your mentor, to your coach, or to someone who's going to hold you accountable, this is where you're taking a step in the direction of actually being able to fulfill and achieve these goals. Because you can achieve anything that you set your mind to. That's really the truth of it. You have to be willing, one, to do the work. You have to be clear on where it is you're going. You have to be intentional about it. You have to write it out and create the roadmap. So if you want, like Shelly's client, if you know that you want to be fit, you don't necessarily want to lose weight, but you want to enjoy a general level of fitness. And
Hmm.
you know that you need to be doing some form of exercise, you need to be getting whatever else done, that's fine. Write it out, make the plan, commit to it, but then take the action. Because I promise you that if you don't take the action, if you just talk about it, think about it, wish on it, it's just going to remain the dream.
Yeah.
But saying yes to the dream, that's where the power begins. But the power is only complete when we take the action. And the action for Shelley's client was in getting up every day and getting to the 3 minutes, that then stretched to five, and that I'm sure is going to continue
Hmm.
to expand as she
Yep.
continues to stretch herself and challenge herself, because you have a direction and you have a roadmap. And a lot of times what happens is we just need someone to hold us accountable. And this is
Hmm.
really, with me sitting looking in, that's the role that Shelley just held that space for her client so that she got started, got the moving, got the momentum. And before I go off on my soapbox, I also just want to say, remember, it's not achieving the goal that is the most important thing. That's very important, yes. But the most important thing is who you become in the process. And that is where your gratitude really
Hmm.
steps in. Who you are
Hmm.
becoming in the process of working towards these goals. By saying it right, by saying it loud, by saying it always. Who are you becoming? How is that showing up for you? That is the real joy. That is the pure gold in this
Yep.
entire process. Because who you are and who you're becoming is not who you were. And you're just building on that. And remember, people, no matter how small, you celebrate the wins. That is part of
Yeah.
the gratitude and staying present.
Yes.
So
Yep.
you did the 3 minutes, celebrate 3 minutes. You got the
Exactly.
five, celebrate five. It is
Yeah.
about being present even in the midst of it all. And that, my friends, is how gratitude just gets to show up in your life every single day.
Mhm. And that's how you infuse joy into your goals. and
Mm-hmm.
moving forward. Because in the past, prior to starting those, that 3 minute rep, what, every conversation is like, um, I I didn't get to do it today. I only did this today, and it was not a joyous experience achieving the goal, and
Mm-hmm.
not a joyous experience going through it. And we tend to want to do things that bring us joy. And
Yeah.
so if we don't think about how we can infuse our goals with gratitude and how we can have joy moving forward, then what's going to happen is that in the moment when it's time to take the action, your mind and your brain and every fiber in your being is going to be telling you, I don't want to do this. And then we tell ourselves, oh, well, we have to have discipline and we have to this and we have to that. And we try to force it.
Mm.
And then what happens? We we live
We
in
give
a
up. We
distress.
surrender. We settle.
Exactly. And
Yep.
we get distressed and
Mm-hmm.
frustrated
Mm-hmm.
when, had we started a little bit smaller and surrounded ourselves with a community that's supportive, then, things might have been different. And so that action in the now is actually the only action that is important, because I can't act on the future because I'm not there yet. I'm not in it. And
Mm-hmm.
I can no longer act on the past because I'm not in the past. I am in now. Now is when I can take action. So I can act with the past in mind and with the future in mind, but my actions are now. And I think for me, staying present and really recognizing the significance of that minimizes the frustration. What can I
Yeah.
do right now? What can I
Mm-hmm.
do right now? I take that action. Not what I can do next week and I have to do next week. No. What can I do right now? I have my plan, I have my goal, but what can I do right now? And infusing that with gratitude and looking at the whole idea of the resilience and everything. And I was searching through the list of episodes, and today is episode I think it's 37. That's
Yay.
that's I was just realizing that that's episode 37. So I was looking through because I know at some point we looked at that consistency with gratitude. But what I'm seeing is episode 27 talking about confidence with gratitude, episode 26 reducing stress. We looked at quite early on, actually. I think it was episode 3, gratitude and exercise, you
Mm.
know,
Oh yes. Yeah.
getting
Yeah.
it,
Yeah.
yeah, keeping things healthy and so on. And
Mm-hmm.
I think we had a guest on episode 2 as well. And we did also look at that, building
The
consistency in that.
well-being. Mm-hmm. Looking
Yeah,
after
for the
yourself,
well-being.
etc.
Hmm.
Yes. Yeah. We did
So,
have a wellness coach, Gia,
yes,
on.
yes, we
Yes.
did. And so I was thinking that while we haven't necessarily spoken about consistency in and of itself, we have spoken about many different issues that work with consistency. Like, for example, episode 32, also on being motivated by gratitude. So,
Mhm.
so there's a lot that, like Karen said, for those of you who have missed those episodes, you joined us later on. It's worth going back. Sometimes I'm thinking, when we look back, we cringe. Oh my, cringy episode. We were just getting started. Everything wasn't quite working out. But it's such a blessing to see where we are now and looking at, what there's so much to be grateful now. And I think that is how we are going to be ending the year for sure next week. So, for those of you who are tuning in, thank you so much. If you want to spend a happy, blissful 30 minutes next week, Thursday, heading into the new year, join us as we take a more tangible look back at, what we've accomplished personally and how all of that is going to be infusing your new year and your goals with gratitude because that's something that we're talking throughout. It was a focus on episode 22, but it's really now a habit practice
Oh,
as we
definitely.
we move into it. So
Definitely, definitely. And
yeah,
as we wrap up, oh my goodness, wrap up this morning, I just really want to remind everyone, that gratitude helps us to maintain a perspective. It helps us to find that strength in adversity, and it helps us to approach life in a appreciative mindset. And that really makes a difference in just helping us get through the days. So no matter what type of day you really think you're having right now, just pause for a minute and appreciate all the blessings in your life and share the gratitude.
yeah, absolutely. So take a deep breath, feel the gratitude, and observe the chaos, but don't step into it because you
Yeah.
are centered, you are calm, and you are grateful. So we'll see you next week when we do a little winding up, and you'll hear a little bit more about us personally as we each share our, gratitudes for the end of the year and for the magnificent year of learning and growth that we've each had. And you can share with us between now and then. Join us on Thursday. Share with us what you appreciate about the year as we feel the moment of gratitude and know that we're taking these individual moments one at a time into wherever we're going into 2024. So have a good one
Absolutely.
and see you next week. Bye, everybody.
Bye.